Well, hello. My name is Frank Lavinia. I am the co-host of the Data Driven podcast, as well as Impact Quantum, and of course, the name behind franksworld.com. Franksworld.com has been online since 1995. Can you believe it? So it's arguably my oldest child. Um, so with that out of the way, something interesting has happened. I've noticed, and I was gonna stream about this the other day, but I guess because of the nature of my live streams of consciousness, um, I didn't really bring it up. And it's this here. This is Blinkist. So first off, I'm a big fan of this app, although I don't pay for this subscription. Um, I kind of waffle on should I add yet another monthly subscription. But one of the things I do really appreciate about them is that every day they provide a free blink. So first, let me tell you a bit about who they are and what it is that they do. Um, you'll notice that um, they're primarily an app. I don't know if you can log in here, but basically what they do is they distill down the the core messages inside of a given book, right? And understand books and podcasts in 15 minutes. I haven't really seen them do a podcast. I think today's free one is an article by Arnold Schwarzenegger, but for the most part, they do books, right? So if you open this image, a new tab, right, they have these kind of books, and they basically break it down into um, um, the core essence of it, right? You can either read it or you can listen to it. So in this case, that's 15 minutes. This one doesn't have it, but you get the gist. Recently, I've noticed that they have added a couple of AI voices, and the only way I've noticed that they were AI voices is that they said we that this audio book was read by an AI voice, and you wouldn't have known. The one they had yesterday was a book on ikigai, and it did sound kind of, I don't know, just something about it didn't sound real. And sure enough, at the end, when they said, "Hey, we did this with the virtual voice. Let us know what you think." I think they're testing the waters because even though, a strictly speaking, a voice AI is not free, it is substantially cheaper than a traditional voice actor. So I find it interesting, and one, I think I also applaud them for the transparency because both of them were done so well. I couldn't tell. Um, I couldn't tell if it was um, real or not. It wasn't obvious. The second one, maybe because my ear was listening to that, but I think it's interesting how they're using that. And in fact, there is a podcast episode in the hopper in the can that will be released soon, where we do talk to somebody who runs a company, and he does that where they, um, oh, here it is. Here, let me share the site. So he has a site where it's basically they do um, virtual. I believe this is the site, but you see that you know it's very interesting how this is a technology that's really evolved. I mean, I'm old enough to remember the original speak and spells, which sounded, speech synthesis was not exactly high fidelity, but now you get to the point where it's really good. In fact, if you listen to um, recent episodes of Data Driven, where we have Bailey and we have kind of a voice for her that we pull down, and it is incredibly um, realistic. Now, I have noticed that when she starts talking for a while, people have noticed, and I can hear it too. that she sounds a bit mechanical or robotic or sounds weird. Now, fortunately, because the nature of the character is that she's synthetic or an AI, it works. But the idea of listening to an audiobook that is end to end, um, spoken by a AI or a neural voice, um, I'm not exactly sure, or synthetic voice. I'm not really sure what the correct term is very fascinating how far we've come as in this field. And there's still challenges. I think it's pretty obvious. Like one of the things I've noticed is some of the tools will let you say, "Hey, say this part with." Um, Let me see if I can load up Azure Speech Studio in the background, because this was actually pretty well done. All right, let's see what we got. I'm going to share my screen. Let's see. All right, once I authenticate, I'll sign in. I'll share my screen again, and it's going to want to challenge me. Hang on. And there we go. Stay signed in. This had a UI that I thought was very interesting. And Andy, if you are watching, feel free to join. You are welcome to. Just I'll hit you up on. I'll send you the link on Teams. So let's see. There you go. So you can check out Voice Gallery. Right, and they have the voices. I don't think I can play it in a way that you can hear it. Um, yeah, but there it is. Custom speech, audio content creation. This is it. All right. So what this would do when it did work, and I gotta set this up again. But what this would do when it did work was you would be able to write a sentence. Um, you would write a sentence and you would go and you would say, I want this portion of the sentence to be read in cheerfully or sad or happy. Um, let's see if I can go and show you a little bit behind the scenes of what we do when we work with AI. So I use a product called Synthesis. And let's see, AI voices. Come on. And I know I'm not sharing my screen. I just want to make sure I'm not sharing login, half of my login credentials with the world. All right. So turn the screen back on. So I have the option here they have these things called lifelike voices. And if we look, we explore all of these voices, you'll see that some of these have um, markers that these are ultra lifelike. Some of these have markers where you can show the style, right? Whether it's general, whether it's angry, cheerful, sad. And I've experimented with this with Bailey, and you can probably hear it in some places where um, it does sound more. You have to be careful because when there's not a lot of knobs and levers you can pull in here, right? I would imagine if I were able to go in and create the SSML or speech synthesis markup language, I probably have more control. But what's really nice about the Microsoft Speech Studio is that you had a lot more control, right? So if I just say that he wants to be shouting, right, I don't really have a lot of control over that. So I don't think I shared. Let me turn off sharing, and I'll share the system audio too. So bear with me as we do this. Chrome tab synthesis, also share audio. All right. So according to Restream, you should be able to hear the audio. So I have that marked as what's the style here? Hey, you guys, a little bit of a Goonies reference. How are you? Okay, so I'm going to put this one here. His style for that sentence is going to be, you know what? I'll say friendly. How about that? All right, so let's play this.
Hey, you guys. How are you?
Let's play that again.
Hey, you guys. How are you?
So we can change this from friendly. Let's say there was shouting. I want to hear what shouting sounds like. All right, so it's going to be render.
Hey, you guys. How are you?
And let's make this terrified. Sounds scary.
Hey, you guys. Hey, you guys. How are you?
I can hear that. I can hear the terror in that. But what's interesting here is that I can now go here, and now I can sign another virtual actor here. So we'll throw Vanessa in here, and we'll give Vanessa a speech, and that speech will be, I don't know, 100 speeches of the let's see. This is the Challenger address. That's too morbid. How about the man, nothing's working right today. All right. So I'm gonna get rid of the exclamation point there, and I can actually play this out like it's a whole bit of dialogue.
Hey, you guys. How are you?
And just rendering. It's rendering.
How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you. It is a lovely day to be in artificial intelligence.
So that's interesting. You hear that? There was a bit of a pause. It is a lovely day to be in artificial intelligence, and I didn't program that, so I wonder if
Hey, you guys. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you. It is a lovely day to be in artificial intelligence.
Let's see if we can play this one.
I'm doing well. Thank you. It is a lovely day to be in artificial intelligence.
So that's interesting. What is also interesting to note is that while it's labeled as an ultra real life voice, it doesn't have any of the speaking styles. And I wonder if there's any kind of back end processing that's going on that is determining how this should be read, or has that been trained into the AI model, the voice model? It's definitely something I want to dive deeper into. Um, but I figure I'd show you some cool things. I think it's fascinating that a company like Blinkist is testing it out. Now, would a company like Audible start using it? I don't know, because listening to an artificial voice for, oh, let's say 15 minutes is a very different experience than listening to an audiobook that could go on for, the longest one I've ever read was 32 hours. That is a very different experience. So with that, I'm going to end the live stream because I got plenty of things to do. Hope you have a great one, and let me know what you think. Do you think this is this a good thing? Is this a bad thing? Is it just going to put voice actors out of work, or is it going to make them stand out more? Let me know what you think in the comments. Thanks, and have a great day.